Hey, what's going on, guys? Visor, and today I thought we'd take a look at Transformers Masterpiece MP-28 Hot Rod, or Hot Rodimus as Takara is calling him. Now, the first time that we got Hot Rod was MP-09 from the Hasbro version, which only was able to transform into what you see here, the car, and it also came with the Target Master Firebolt, but the Takara version came with the Winnebago trailer, I believe is how you call it, and while I don't have the, the regular colors one, I do have the MP-09 version, but even though I didn't put the figure in there, I just hate transforming MP-09, so this one is much easier, and I am pleased with it. But so you can get an idea as far as the size. That way, if you already have an MP-09 that has the trailer, you can use that as a Rodimus, and this is Hot Rod. So I do like that as far as the size scale goes. So you can kind of see it in there. I mean, just for the car, it would be nowhere near the same size. So I just wanted to kind of use that to show off. Now, a couple of things that this guy comes with, obviously his instructions. He does also come with his card, which has some nice artwork on there, and this little thing over here. It also comes with a fishing rod, no string or anything on here, but you kind of get the idea for the illusion. I don't know how many people are going to display it this way, but it's from the 86 animated movie, so kind of cool little throw in there. And then you also get his pizza cutter, or his little saw blade, but it does spin, and it does have some silver paint over the translucent clear plastic here in the middle, and it also will rotate on his wrist, so I'll show you here in a bit. It also comes with two different styles of guns. They did this with the G1 as well, but you can see that they are just kind of a purplish blue color, and they have the silver handles. Now, if you wanted to equip them on vehicle mode, you can do a couple of different things. Just pull this down and pull this down. So pretty much just like all the other vehicles of this size, you can pull the chrome engine back, and you can stick one of those guns and plug it into the front. Now, I'm not a big fan of, sticking the guns into the alt modes, but I do want to show off everything that's, that this thing has. Then pulling that down, you also have these two little square pegs right here that you can also put that there, and you can also put it right there. That looks a little bit better in my opinion, but again, I'm not going to be displaying this guy in alt mode, and even if I was, he's not going to have these guns sticking on him and stuff like that. So for another comparison, here in his alt mode, here he is with the G1, which was also, this is a commemorative series, so this one was also titled Hot Rodimus, but you can see those two side by side. You're missing the flames on the side, but that really doesn't bother me. I mean, this looks much cooler, I think, but the nice chrome going all the way right here, the chrome engine on the top. The flames are a little bit different, but, that's all right. Kind of has those little squares there for that as well. And then the back, I like that they did kind of a orange to kind of match the hood, and then did the yellow on the outside, and then the orange also matches that as well back here on these little thrusters and stuff. If you also look here on the bottom of the vehicle, if that's important to you, it also looks a lot like the G1, so you can see the heads there, the little orange piece right there, and then the legs and the arms to the side. Excuse me. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the transformation of this vehicle. Now, a couple of things that we're going to be doing. We'll do some comparisons. I'm going to show you all the accessories, how those combine, but we're going to go from car to robot, and we'll go back to car. So if you guys are wondering, or maybe struggling in some way of transforming this guy, whether it's to robot to car, I'm going to be able to help you out with that. I'm not going to go the exact way that the directions said. I'm going to go the way that I think is the easiest to remember. That way that I can kind of show you that. So a lot of things will match up with the directions, but sometimes I kind of go out of order. But anyways, with this guy, the first thing that we're going to do is pull these arms down. There's a tab that's connected right in here to that arm. So just pull that down so you can see that tab right there in that hole. Do the same thing with this, and just bend those down 90 degrees to kind of get those out of the way. If it hasn't done it already, the next thing you're going to do is pull these out. So this is actually tabbed up under this piece right here, and this section is actually tabbed in up underneath the undercarriage. So just kind of undo those as well. Then what we're going to do is bring this section, this is kind of tabbed on top of this, and this is tabbed on top of that. So I usually kind of put my finger in there to kind of give myself a little bit of push, so I'm not putting so much stress on those. So you can see those little slots right there. But as you're bringing this around, you can also swing around with the head as you're doing that. Pull down the engine block, and you want to push the engine block all the way down as far as it can go and right up against there. Then you'll know that you've done, got that all the way up or against this section that you need to. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is just kind of bring these arms. There are, you can see 2 rods there and 2 rods there. You can see it a little bit better because of the light there. Bring that out. So you can see that there are 2 joints there. So you have that rod and that rod. You see how those kind of accordion that way? So you're going to bring that out and do the same with this one here. So bring that out, accordion, or whatever you want to say. Then with this section, just make sure you have some clearance. You're going to pull those in and do the same thing with this one. Pull that in, and you can rotate the arms down. Now we're going to go ahead and extend these arms. Rotate where the chrome little pipes are on the inside here at the bottom, or with the elbow bend or whatever right there. And then here you're going to rotate. See how this whole section now rotates on that tire? So you're going to rotate that all the way and do the same with this one here. So we'll just kind of bend those forward right there. All right, so now this section, if it hasn't come apart already, but this, what you see, these little vents right here, there are some tabs right there. Those are actually going to plug into the back here. I'll make sure that's focused. They plug in right there. So they're very easy to kind of pop off. But as soon as they do that, you're going to, this section here is going to tab in there and just push that down. And that'll fit quite nicely. You can bring this up. Just want to make sure I'm focused for you guys. And then bring this. And you can see there's a slot right there. There's an orange tab. Pop that sucker in. There you go. And then with this section, before you bring it down, you're going to pull these orange bits down, and they are tabbed into this section. Pop that off and pull that in. And then do the same thing with this one, untab that, and then rotate that in. You can bring this down all the way, and just, give that another little push to make sure that orange tab gets all the way through there. Then with this wing, you're going to swing it all the way up. And it kind of has a little spot where it kind of clicks into place so that you can see that it's all lined up really nicely. All right, and then with the legs, going ahead and bringing those out, just come up with this section here, separate here. You're going to lift up on this panel and swing this leg out. A lot of these size Masterpiece figures are like that. And bring that around. You see there's a tab there and a slot right there. I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. You can see that it's not plugged in there, so that's why it's moving. So there we go. And now that's not moving back and forth. So that's how you'll know if you've done it correctly or not. Do the same thing with here. Rotate that. Bring that down and make sure that's there we go. Now it's tabbed in there the correct way. Go ahead and come down with the skirt, the feet, come forward and out with the heel spurs. And do the same thing with this one. And then with this arm section here, you can see that there is a tab there and there. There's a slot right in that window and one there. So you're going to bring these tabs, and your arms are going to kind of look like that. And push those in there. Do the same thing with this one. Get that bottom one in there. There we go. And get those in there. Good. And there you have them pretty much transformed. We just have to get the hands out. I'm just going to get this one out for right now because I do want to show you the pizza cutter. We'll grab that, and that just plugs on right there. And then you can just grab whatever weapon you want. Go ahead and push that back down. It does have the little notches, or, tabs on the side of the gun, so you can put in his hand. One thing that I would recommend, because you can see how this hand goes back up against this chrome all the way. You don't want to put this in here and like keep on pressing up against it, because you'll probably end up scratching the inside of this chrome, or maybe even kind of break this piece off, since it is pretty long. So I usually kind of just get my finger in the middle, and then press up against there, so I can get a solid connection without putting pressure on that chrome. I don't think I got a very good connection there. There we go. And just move the fist however you need to. I think it came loose, but oh well. Shows the way it looks, and then push these down. Almost forgot about that, but anyways, there is the complete transformation. All right, now taking a look at him in robot mode and fully transformed and with his accessories. One of the things that kind of bothered me with him whenever I first saw pictures online was the backpack. I don't know if it was just the pictures that they took that made it stand out so much, but it was something that kind of put me off on him. But now that I have it in hand, it's something that I can kind of look over. I don't think it's really that bad. Whenever you consider Trax Road Rage, they also have like a big area back here, but those aren't really two of the most favorite figures out of the line as far as the molds go. But I'll bring out the Lambor brothers. While they are not as big in this section towards where the shoulders are, but the cockpit kind of slants back and it comes out quite a bit here towards the waist area. So you just kind of flip-flop that with him, and I really don't think it's that big of a deal. Also considering that majority of the alt mode, the entire car is from here going up and with the arms. So the waist down is just kind of like tucked up underneath. So I think to kind of compact all of that into this section and just the arms and chest is pretty amazing job. So it's a pretty nice figure. I'm excited about it. I'm happy with it. Now that I have it in hand, I've kind of changed my tune on it. I'm really hoping that they come out with a black version as well. God, what all colors are there? I'm trying to think of them all, but is there a blue one too? I forget. Anyways, but I do like him. Now, he does come with quite a few things. Some of the stuff that I think is maybe a little unnecessary. So we'll go ahead and get into that. But you can put a gun. He does come with two, like I showed before. So you can just take that pizza cutter off and open the hand and put this in there if you wanted to. And then you can have the other one there. The guns, they don't combine. But again, he is Hot Rod and not Rodimus. So there really shouldn't be a reason for that. That being said, he has a compartment here for the Matrix. Now, he doesn't come with one, which is, kind of strange that you're going to give that to us, but you're not going to have a Matrix to come with him. This is the MP-29. You can do it like that. It won't fit in there. But if you have any of the MP-10s, it just slides off in there, and there you go. Now, like I mentioned before, the rifles don't combine because he's not Rodimus. Then why do you have a spot for the Matrix? Because again, he's not Rodimus. Because once Hot Rod takes the Matrix, then he turns into Rodimus, which would make this guy's Hot Rod / Rodimus. So it's kind of pointless. I don't know if the engineering suffered at all because you wanted to add this little gimmick or the thing with the hood. And you can see how I opened that. There's just two joints here. So whenever you close that, just push that in. So it's pretty simple. I don't know if that took away from the engineering or if they could have improved something without having that little feature. If so, then I'd say do away with it. But it's all right. It's not something that I think is like, oh, amazing, because one, you didn't come with a Matrix anyway. All right, getting the other fist out, if I can. There we go. Whenever you put these fists in, you've got to get them lined up just right. Otherwise, they're a little bit difficult to pop out just because it's really tight up in there. All right, so next thing we want to do is cover the scale. So here he is with, MP10. Here he is with Wheeljack, so just a little bit taller there. Bumblebee, Ironhide, he's still in my pile of loot, so I haven't had him shipped to me anyway. So, but just kind of giving you guys an idea as far as the size scale goes. Ironhide is obviously going to be a little bit taller than him. And one more comparison, or two more that I want to do, that are basically, hot rods or hot Rodimuses. There he is with the G1. So you can kind of see everything that they, put together. I like the way that they went with this. It looks a little bit more, accurate to the cartoon, I believe. So I do like that. The chest, where they have the lights and everything going there. One of the negatives, I've brought this up on Cybercast and Aftercast as well, is that you see the screws here in the wrist, and I think that looks really ugly because this is one of the sections that you have paint on with the orange and the yellow, which is done very nice and very clean. But then you have those black screws in there. If they would just have some little stoppers, like little yellow, plugs to cover up the screws, because that's what the Masterpiece line is really lacking, in my opinion. Just little subtle things like that, or even here in the legs, on the inside of the legs, you have those little stoppers to kind of plug those ugly screw holes that are unnecessary up. It would truly be a masterpiece, because then you wouldn't be able to point out any of those flaws or screw holes or anything like that, especially whenever they're looking you dead in the face, because it's on the very front. And that's something that would cost, I don't know, like 20-30 cents, so it's not like I'm asking for a lot here. But then bringing in MP-29, so you can see those two together, and yeah, there's a huge difference as far as size goes. So, this is going to be my Rodimus. This is going to be my hot rod. So, and that's probably the way that most people are going to display it on their shelf. Or you might be just getting rid of MP-09 altogether. I'm not. A couple of other things that I want to get into is the visor. If you pull up the top of the head, then it's a little easier to get to if you have fingernails. But we're going to try to manage. Flip visor out and over his face. You can come back down with the head and get that focus there so you can see what that looks like. So, not too bad. We'll go ahead and leave that way for right now. He does come with another accessory that I mentioned prior, is his fishing rod. Now, the way that you would do that, you come up with this section here, fold the feet in, and come out with the legs and bring those in, come out with this leg and bring that in as well. And then you can have, this hand and rotate that in there. And we're just gonna, push that there, and we'll have this hand rotate it, and we'll just have that, like, sitting on his lap. So he's fishing. If, you wanted to do that, you can bend up a little bit. I don't know how many people are really going to display it on their shelves this way. I'm sure there will be somebody. But you can see that he can't sit up right. And you could put it using both hands. But one of the things that, and it shows you whenever we looked at all the pictures and everything, is what they do is they disconnect this back section here to swing this arm around, and that just, you're detaching the arm, so it just looks silly. It looks like his arm's just floating out there. So I just leave that in there. I think this is fine, as opposed if you wanted to put him in his fishing pose or whatever. All right, to get him back, we're going to cover articulation real quick, and then we'll go back to the alt mode. Just need to make sure all this is plugged back in place. So a lot going on with this guy. They added some features. The visor is cool. I like that. The fishing rod thing, hey, nice little throw in. Didn't necessarily need it, but cool. The matrix didn't spot. Didn't necessarily need that, and I would like, like I said, mentioned before, the little plugs and stuff like that. But covering articulation, the head, it does rotate. It's on a ball joint up here, so it can, look up and down. So you can get quite a few nice poses out of it. Look down quite a bit. Go ahead and flip that around. We'll have to do it anyway. There you go. You got to push it all the way down if you want to get the, push the top of the head down. The arms, they can go in and out about thus far. They rotate here, part of transformation. Yeah, so they rotate in and out here, part of transformation. They go 360 degrees this way if you wanted to do. Then you have this, which also rotates. You have 90-degree bend at the elbow. The wrist rotate. The hand clamp comes open. Then you have the waist articulation going 360 degrees. You also have, I guess, kind of an ab crunch where he just bends forward like that. I guess that's part of the fishing pose or whatever. With these skirts, each one of these come up individually. So you can see the two in the back are individually done. So that way you can get all the way forward, all the way back, all the way to the side with the articulation. It also rotates here at the thigh. You bend 90 degrees at the knee. The feet go back and forth, and they also rotate in there as well. Alright, so now we're going to go into the alt mode. So the first thing I always like to do is put the fist in. Again, it's not what the directions say to do, but this is just the easiest way, or the easiest steps, I think, to transform this guy. So that's what I'm going to show you, or it's the easiest way that I've found. But go ahead and close the feet up, and then you're going to lift up on the skirt section. Now, before we do that, I want to show you what it looks like whenever you have the skirt section if you miss that step, because that's something that I think would be probably going to be the easiest missed. So what you're going to do is lift up on this section, and as you're bringing this leg around and coming around with it like so, you'll notice that because we didn't lift that skirt section up, this gray part is sitting on top, so therefore the leg is not down all the way, so you're not going to be able to get this panel around to fit in there. So that's going to be something that I can see a lot of people having a little problem with, and then they're like, oh, okay, I remember that. So lift the skirt up so you can push the thigh all the way in there, and then you're going to be able to tab that in. So if you're having that problem, just check the skirt. Do the same thing with this leg. Go ahead and bring that all the way around, and you can peg that into place. Then you can pull the legs together and then come down with the skirt, so it should look something like that. Then with the arms, what we're going to do is straighten them here, rotate the chrome to the inside, and then rotate here at the top where the tire and the chrome are on the outside. Do the same thing with this one. Chrome inside, and then rotate here at the tire. So it looks like that. Go ahead and bend them 90 degrees, just like so. And then you're going to untab where this was connected into the windshield. You're going to do that on that side and do it on this side as well. So you kind of have the arms forward like that. Go ahead and lift up right here. This section, swing this around just like so. We'll just keep that straight. You have that orange tab here in the back holding the backpack. Go ahead and undo that, and then you can come forward with this and just kind of get that all into place there. Then with this section, go ahead and bring these around and bring this around. Again, you can see there's a tab there and a slot there. Just line those up. Do the same thing with that, and flip these little orange pieces up right there. Then with the legs, you're going to be able to plug this into those sections, so you can see those little slots right there. The tabs are going to be what's on the other side of these vents. So keep your fingers on top of those and bring those around, and you can give them a little slight push, and now they're in there the way they're supposed to be. You can go ahead and untab here. And we're going to bring the arms around, bring this arm around, and bring this around these little things. And you see there's a small little tab. So many tabs, but I like it. Just clip those in place, clip that into place, and then you're going to bring this around, or I guess before you rotate it here, bring that around to where you collapse in there, just like so. And do the same thing with this one, collapse that in there. You remember how we had those two rods? So that's what you're gonna do. Make sure that's in there. And this all lining up and tab it in, that's not important at the moment because you still need to do the head and bring this around. So to do that, you're going to, let's see, pull this engine compartment all the way down. And as you're bringing this down, pull the engine, that way that this orange piece right here comes over this. If you don't, then it's going to have trouble getting past that, the head will. So we've got the engine compartment on the top, and we've rested this up, and that's as far down as that's going to be able to go. Then it's just tabbing everything into place. This right here, that's going to tab on top, that's going to tab on top. The engine or the hood's going to come down just like so. This section is going to tab in that way and also up underneath. And do the same thing with this section over here. So make sure you push it in, and then you also get this up underneath there. So push that in there, and it's up and underneath as well. And then you can bring this down, and you can see that there's a tab there and a slot there. Just make sure that's in place, and the little engines will go right up underneath, as you can kind of see there. And just tab that in. And just kind of, like every masterpiece, you just kind of give it a nice little push. Make sure everything's nice and flush on there. And there you have Hot Rod back into his alternate mode, which looks really good. I love his alt mode. And, the robot mode isn't, too bad either. So, anyways, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully I was able to help you if you needed it. And, really cool figure. I do like him. So hopefully we get some more repaints. So thanks a lot. Talk to you guys later. Peace.